Hello guys, welcome back to the essence of me. So guys, gonna just jump straight into it. Today I'm going to be addressing something that is quite close to home, and it's in regards to an article on the Jamaica Gleaner about Holy Trinity High School. Now, in the Gleaner, this was 2 days ago, it was reported that only a few students registered for online learning, so it's really surrounding the whole online schooling these days. So only a few students did that. But that's not really just it. The article also addressed the fact that they were expecting to have a rocky journey where this online school is concerned, because as they would report, 60% or even more of the students who start first form at Holy Trinity are illiterate. So those coming from primary school starting first form are illiterate, and this is why they were anticipating that of course it would be rocky when they start this whole online learning. When I saw the article, it spoke to me because, guys, for those who know, I did a video about you can take the pig out the sty, can you take the sty out the pig? And in that video there was a subtopic which I shared my story about my high school, and those who don't know the video, I'll attach it in the description box so you can watch it and refresh your memory, or if you haven't watched it you can watch it for the first time. But I shared the story of going to high school and what happened in terms of how they segregated the dunce students in one section and then the brighter ones, which bright in terms of Holy Trinity standard, not necessarily the traditional high schools standard. But guys, I'm going to be talking to you about this whole situation and my thoughts on it, because as you don't know, that was the high school that I was referring to, and it's like everything I said just revealed through this article. So guys, let's get into the video. Guys, when I saw this article, I wasn't surprised, because like I said, I have known this, I've lived it. It's so weird because I have so much life experience, and to know that this was my experience, I've lived it and I've been through it, is just, it's very heartfelt. But guys, there is a serious problem when it comes on, and I've said it in the video. I will attach the video so you can watch it. I'll also attach this Gleaner article, but I've just taken bits from it and just elaborate on it, because like I said, this is something close to home. When you're having 60% of students coming into high school, Holy Trinity, because guys, you know that with placements, it's about grades. So it's about grades, so it's based on your grades, that's where you're going to be placed in high school. So you're going to find the people, most of the students that are placed at Holy Trinity High School, they're averaging probably 50, 60. I think it's 50, 60 is the average. I think even less. I'm not sure what it is now, but I think back then it was 50, 60. But it's not very high. So most students in the past for Holy Trinity High School, they don't feel proud. One, it's a very rough school. Two, it's not very good academically. There's so many things wrong with the system. But guys, this is what we have to understand, that everything ties together. So everything is a chain reaction. So I'm not going to only focus on Holy Trinity. We're going to focus on even the primary schools, inner city primary schools, or the less looked after primary schools, and how that is spilling over into the high schools that these children are being placed in. And oh, of course, we have the solution, but we continue to brush over it. As I said in my previous video, unless we take care of the bottom, we will not have good products at the top. We as a people have to focus where the focus needs to be directed, and what we're having is that the focus is not directed. Most of my viewers, if you're even older, younger, you would remember that from Wapikil Philip. Most times, if you're not going to a prep school where your parents paying the child, you're more afraid of the results. So prep school, the child is more likely to pass for a good are good in the sense that if a child goes to a prep school, they're going to more than likely be placed in a good high school, 95% chance. And when you're placed in a good high school, you're going to more than likely come out to go to university or come out with some subjects. It's a probability, guys. As I said in my previous video, briefly, it's like if you're around an environment conducive to learning, or you're around people that wants to learn, it's a law of attraction. Yeah, it's a law of attraction where you're going to be attracted to learning, because if your friends are there and you're coming in the foolishness and they're saying, yo, my goal is to come top at my class, or my goal is to get 100% in this exam. That is my goal. That is what I want. So if you are the odd one out where what you want to do is go scull school or sit on the side or don't attend those classes or stuff like that, and the people, most of the your friends are like, their aim is to compete to get the better grade. If that is what you're around, you're usually going to conform to that environment, because it's just natural that we don't want to be the odd one out. And this is what I always talk about when it comes on to traditional high schools or so-called good high schools, and when it comes on to the inner city high schools or so-called bad high schools. That's why you're finding that the product that's coming out of the bad high schools, I'm going to use the word bad because they're troubled. Look, use the word troubled high schools. The reason why you're finding those products coming out because majority of the students have the same mindset. So because majority is just law of attraction where you're going to form, not all the time, because like I said, some people do come out of these high schools and they barely survive and come out with some subjects. It's not everybody, but a meager amount comes out, barely scrape through and get a few subjects and go on to university, you name it. But the statistics will show that 90, not even 95, 98% of students who go to these troubled high schools will come out with nothing. It's just the reality. Probably 2%, 3%, if it's even that, will probably come out with something. And the statistics show that 98% of those that attend those traditional high schools or so-called the better high schools will come out with subjects and more than likely will go on to university. Now, here's my thought on this whole thing. As someone who has attended Holy Trinity High School, and I would say I'm now on the other side. But when I left with nothing, guys. I left with nothing. And I was not a bad child. I was not a bad girl. I was always someone with a clear head. But if you want to understand that story, guys, you have to watch that previous video, which I said I'll link in serious, guys. Remember, those traditional high schools or those better high schools cannot hold the whole of Jamaica. Which means that there's more than likely people are going to have to be spread out. Which means if you want better result, this is what I believe, you know. How can you expect better result if you're not going to bring this school up to par? I've always said that. When I was attending Holy Trinity, they put the teachers that had the lower grades would teach the students that had lower grades. Let's talk about the government. And we want to better our schools and better the system and change this whole problem that we're having. Why not put your best minds into these schools? Why not invest the best resources? Why not change the system within these schools? Because guys, when I was going to Holy Trinity, and again, I expressed that in the previous video, that when I was going there, guys, I was in third brightest. And first brightest, every day they got a teacher. So this is the system of these schools, guys. Bear in mind. Every day the first brightest get a teacher. You see, when it comes on to second and third, I don't know what it's like now, because I've had family members who attended Old Trinity and they tell me that it's even worse. When it comes on third and fourth brightest, guys, if you get a teacher, you'll be lucky. So if you have 5-6 classes per day, you probably get 2 out of that 6 or 3 out of that 6. If you're lucky. But you see, first brightest, what they usually do is segregate the brighter ones. The ones who are better able to manage, they segregated those into a class. And then they get their teacher every day and they focus on those mainly. And they turn their back on the rest of us. They didn't have any openness. they didn't have much faith, much hope in us because they felt we're bad, we're going nowhere. When all it was, guys, all it was is that we're slow. Remember, you know, education is a foundation thing, which is why I'm talking about. It's like a chain reaction. If you're sending children, if even in the primary schools, if even in these troubled primary schools, there's no good foundation or good teaching, I'm telling you guys, most of the classes, the windows are broken in the primary schools. The teachers, mediocre, no disrespect to teachers, but our teachers who don't even care because the children are bad. So many challenges, guys. Most of these troubled primary schools are used for activities, even during school time. You have the area leader, the bad man in the area, controlling the schools. Right? And the youths, them that go to the school, is either the done child, so teachers are afraid. So I understand that the challenges that are taking place. But you want to tell me that more resources can be invested to secure these schools and provide better environment. When it comes on to learning, the environment needs to be conducive for children to learn. Most of these schools, like I said, the environment, poor environment, not much investment, not much psychological help, because these, when it comes on to troubled schools, there's psychological help needs to be had, because most of these children, they come to school dirty. They come to school hungry. Most of them, they're in troubled homes. And I understand it's not the school's birth the child. But if we're going to always just be saying it's the parents' responsibility, when of course we need. So guys, trust me, what you're seeing in this article is just the meat of the matter. Check out most of these troubled high schools, and you'll understand the tragedy that is taking place. They're barely looked after. They're barely recognized. They don't get the attention that they need. You know who get the attention? The Calabar, the Immaculate. Yeah. The schools that are producing the results. And a lot of these kids, it's not that they hate school so much, just using myself as an example. When they don't have foundation of learning, so you go in basic school, you struggle. A lot of kids are dyslexic. A lot of kids have so many psychological problems to prevent learning. I can tell you that one of my issues with learning was, as I said in the previous video, I never went to primary school properly. I was in and out through illness. So I was not grasping. Every time I go back to school, I would be a year out, every 1 year out, 1 year back in. And they're pushing me along through the system based on my age. And every time I'm trying to catch up, I can't catch up. So I'm not understanding. And when you don't understand, it's going to be frustrating. You're not going to enjoy learning because you don't have the foundation. Which most of these troubled schools, most of the kids, they're in class, they don't understand nothing whatsoever. You know, in first world countries, when a child is going into school, they do an assessment of a child's ability and where the child's at. And they can identify if the child is slow in this area or if the child is having other issues. And that helps to reduce the pressures that comes with learning. And the child is able to learn at their own pace, which is what is missing in Jamaica. Trust me, guys. A lot of kids just not getting the good start what they need. So this 60% of students that is not even doing online schooling at Holy Trinity, right? What are they doing? Most parents don't even care. Most of them at home. Most of them, whatever. This is why the state, it is a state's responsibility to ensure that children are getting the best that they deserve. It is never just left up to the parents. Only Jamaica has to do that. Mostly left it up to the parents. In these countries, first world countries, the state will not just leave it up and say, because you're a child, you can do what you want to do. Yeah, where are these 60% of students? But there you have it. So that's another fallback, because I believe the schools that are more in need should get the best teachers so that they can bring these schools up to par. Why not spread that around a bit so you can have a better environment? So you can bring these other schools up to par, the struggling ones, the ones that needs the attention, the ones that needs the attention, so we can prevent some of the tragedy that we're seeing with thieves and murders, so we can prevent some of the tragedies and the constant repetition and reproduction of violence and gangs. Because if you idle, what else are you gonna do? They will always find something for idlers to do, don't it? They will always find something for idlers to do. But that's really my thoughts, guys. You know, that's really it. I do hope you enjoy this video. I hope you enjoy my thoughts on this whole issue. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel, guys. Share this video and give this video a thumbs up if you like it, guys. Share your comments, your thoughts on what, you know, this situation with Holy Trinity. Share your thoughts on the majority of the students at the school, at Holy Trinity High School, not showing up for online classes, and 60% of these students who start first form being illiterate, you know, and how it's really affecting the development of these schools. But guys, as always, you do have yourself a wonderful day. Until next time, guys, Godspeed. Bye.